And welcome back to AdosTheGreat YouTube channel. So guys, in today's video, I will be going over how I went in round 1, and then I will be giving you my round 2 tips. Now guys, I am going to be bulk recording round 3 and 4 tips, as well as the wife and I are moving from our current location to a new one. We're upgrading. We finally own our own house. We've been building for the last 4 years, so it has been a nightmare, but we're finally there. We just got to get everything packed into the new house. I've got my own little study area set up for all my recordings and stuff like that, so I'm super pumped for that. But yeah, I am going to be bulk recording some tipping videos just in case I can't do these weekly. So just letting you guys know, if you do see the tipping videos come up and I have no team list, none of that sort of stuff, then yeah, that is why, because I'm doing it all today. But fingers crossed, we can just run it as normal. But there is a good chance I am going to have to yeah, do some bulk recording and get some tipping videos up. So let's jump in and talk about round 1 and how I went. So to start things off, I backed my Rabbitohs in round 1. I tipped them by 4. For the first 60 minutes, they were going pretty well. I think it was 20-12 at one point, and I thought, hell, we might run away with this. Like, Latrell scored a try, set one up. They looked good. Unfortunately, it just wasn't happening for us, and the Seagulls, to their credit, just ran away with it. So congratulations to Manly. Good stuff there. That is a tip wrong. Next up, I backed the Roosters to beat the Broncos. I thought the Roosters would get it done. You know, the Broncos losing a lot of experience in Capewell, Farnworth, Flegler. Like, it was going to hurt them. It was going to hurt them, and I do think they're still going to be a top 8 side, but you know, I think they may struggle at times this year. So credit to the Roosters, really good first performance, and yeah, I thought they'd get the job done. All right, next up, we got the Knights and the Raiders. Obviously, I was tipping the Knights in this one. I did not give the Raiders any chance of winning this one. I backed the Knights 13+, and it came back to bite me in the ass. So credit to the Raiders, played outstanding. They were by far and away the better team, and yeah, definitely deserved that one. Right, next up, we got the Warriors against the Sharkies. The Warriors, in my opinion, were the better team in this game, but it doesn't matter how well you play. It doesn't matter, you know, it doesn't matter how well your attack looks or how many repeat sets you get or anything like that. If you don't win, all that is forgotten. And Cronulla were great defensively. They were incredible. They showed grit. They showed determination. They got the job done over in New Zealand, which is not easy to do. So credit to the Sharkies. Very, very good win for them. I think it's a very underrated win for them as well. Right, next up, we've got Storm and the Panthers. I'm kicking myself because I actually took... there's a bloody fly in the house. I actually took the Storm to begin with, and then I changed my tip when Munster got ruled out. I should have stuck with my heart, gone with the Storm, but I went, no. The head takes over and says, look, Munster out, Penrith should win. Not a good tip from me there. That one was extremely disappointing. I would have gotten 3 from 8, which is a little bit more respectable. But yeah, credit to the Storm. They looked very, very good. Very good. Defensively, I thought they were incredible. Panthers weren't bad, but you know, at the end of the day, they were rusty at the start of last year. They still won the comp. Like, it is what it is. Bulldogs and Eels, obviously tipped the Eels in this one. I thought they'd win this one quite easily, and they did, 26-8. The Bulldogs, I don't know what the hell's going on with them. I do think that they're a team that could get the spoon this year. Parramatta looked outstanding. They're a team, if they continue to play like this, they will make finals in 2024. I'll tell you that right now, because they were dominant in this game. So very good win there for the Eels. All right, next up, we've got the Titans and the Dragons. I took the Titans in this one. I thought at home they'd get the job done. New coach. And against the Dragons, who a lot of people, not just myself, had finishing in the bottom 4, if not winning the wooden spoon. They proved everybody wrong. Like the Raiders, they proved everybody wrong. They've come out in Queensland, got a very good win over the Titans. So credit to them. Big win there, and it puts them into second spot on the ladder. So crazy stuff there. I kind of went a little bit rogue with this last one. I backed the Dolphins at home. I thought with Herbie joining, Tommy Flegler joining, I thought, you know, they'll give the Cowboys a run for their money. And playing outside of North Queensland. This one would be tough for the Cowboys. Boy, was I wrong once again. Cowboys absolutely pumped the Dolphins, getting the biggest win of the week and putting them into that number 1 spot. All right, here we go. Round 2 tips. Let's look at team lists and ins and outs. So Broncos have no changes. They are going 1 through 17 as they did in Vegas. Whereas the Rabbitohs, Jacob Host is out. I believe he has been dropped. And Jai Arrow is out due to an injury. I believe that is a shoulder injury. So not good for the Rabbitohs. You've got Shaq Mitchell and Tallis Duncan coming straight into the side. Tallis Duncan comes into that starting second row spot, and Shaq Mitchell comes on to the bench for Jacob Host. So, I'll be honest with you, I do think the Broncos win this. I'm 1000%. I'm going to back my boys in. I'll be at this game. I'll be there at Suncorp Stadium. I'll be cheering the boys on louder than you can believe. I want the boys to get over the line, and they do play relatively well at Suncorp, the Rabbitohs. They generally do. Like if I get the form guide up here, it doesn't really say where they've played at Suncorp, but like the Rabbitohs have actually won 5 of their last 9 against the Broncos, with the Broncos winning obviously 4 of those ones. So the Rabbitohs recently have had the upper hand there. But, I think this will be a very entertaining game. Look, I do think the Broncos win this, unfortunately. Just with the amount of injuries that we have, we're still waiting on Jackie Whiten to come back from the suspension. Obviously, I'm tipping the boys. I'm just going to go safe with a 4-point margin once again. In my heart, I know the Rabbitohs can win this game, but my head does say, look, the Broncos probably get away with 2 points in this one, but I am going to back my boys in here. Obviously, I'm tipping my Rabbitohs to get the job done, but yeah, I am nervous. I'm very nervous about this. So, let's hope Trolley Mitt steps up and has a big game. All right, let's have a look at team lists or team changes for the Sharkies and the Bulldogs. So, for Cronulla, no changes whatsoever for the Sharks. The Bulldogs, they bring in, it says they bring in Bronson Cherry there, so I'm assuming, no, Connor Tracy comes into the number 5 jersey, so I don't know what the hell this NRL app is doing there, but Connor Tracy comes in for Josh Adokar. Outside of that, no changes for them, and no changes for the Sharks either. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We're not going to talk on this too much. The Sharkies by 13 plus. I think they will be extremely dominant over the Bulldogs. I'm not even going to look at the form guide. Sharks, for me, win this one and win it well. All right, next up, we've got the Penrith Panthers against the Parramatta Eels. Now, the Panthers are coming off a loss. A loss to the Eels. They lost to the Storm. Eels won last week. Ins and outs for each side. So Scotty Sorensen and Mitch Kenny both return to the Panthers lineup, which are massive inclusions for the Panthers. So Luke Summerton does miss out this week, but huge inclusions in Mitch Kenny and Scott Sorensen. That is massive for the Panthers. No changes for the Eels. I really do think that Scott Sorensen makes a massive difference to this Panthers lineup. Panthers are paying $1.39 with the Eels paying $3.03. Like, if you're a betting man, you're chucking $10 on the Eels. Like, that is crazy good value for Parramatta, who notoriously play well against the Panthers. They beat them 32-18 in round 26 last year and 17-16. So they beat them in 2 occasions last season. So, yeah, I think this is definitely a game that could go either way, but I am backing the Panthers 1-12. I just think they'll be too good for Parramatta. All right, next up, we've got the Raiders and the Tigers. Now, this one could be a very, very entertaining game. Realistically, off the back of last week, you'd think the Raiders do get a win here. Seb Chris returns. He is in, and Nick Kotrick is out with Albert Hopewadi moving from the centres to the wing. The Tigers have named a few surprises. Solomona Fa'atape, who I have big raps on. I've actually got him winning the Rookie of the Year for the Tigers. I think he's in for a massive game. Lachlan Galvin joins Jaden Sullivan in the halves with Aiden Caesar in the number 14. Outside of that, no real big changes for their forward pack. Alex Seyfarth comes in the number 13 jersey. But yeah, not too many surprises realistically in that lineup there for the Tigers, outside of obviously Fa'atape, Galvin, and probably Seyfarth. Yeah, the Raiders only one change there with Seb Chris coming in. Look, I do think the Raiders win this one. I do think they win 13 plus. I think they will be too strong there for the Tigers. But you never know. Like I just can't see them losing at GIO Stadium. I can't see them losing at Canberra. And the Tigers, I just don't know how they're going to start the season. I don't. Now, this could come back to bite me in the ass. It really could. But I just can't see the Tigers winning this one. I think the Raiders will be way too good. I think their good form in 2024 will continue. All right, next up, we've got the North Queensland Cowboys against the Newcastle Knights at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. So, changes for these sides. No changes listed for the Cowboys. So they'll be the same side that ran out last week in that big win over the Dolphins. Now, the Knights do make a few changes here. Dylan Lucas and Inari Tuwala are out. Kai Pearce-Paul jumps up into that starting second row spot, and Thomas Jenkins comes in on the wing there for Inari Tuwala. Outside of that, not too many changes to talk about. Will Price is in the extended lineup, but I don't see him getting a bait there. Yeah, good lineup there for the Knights, I think. I do think that it was only a matter of time before Kai Pearce-Paul came into the 13. And Tommy Jenkins has been killing it. Was killing it for reserve grade at the Panthers and looks pretty good. Looked good in the trials for the Knights. I thought Daniel Armstrong could have been a shout there for that wing spot, but yeah, Thomas Jenkins, he's jumped it. He looks good. So yeah, I think that's a good team list there for Newcastle. But look, at North Queensland, I think the Cowboys are going to be too strong here. I don't think it'll be a 13-plus win. I think the Knights will be improved. They'll improve more than they were last week, but I can't see the Cowboys losing this one off the back of a really good win against the Dolphins. I think they go and, I think they beat the Knights. All right, next up, we've got the Melbourne Storm against the New Zealand Warriors. Cam Munster is still not in the lineup here. I don't even think he's been named. He hasn't been named in reserve. So, no Cam Munster. But hey, if you go off last week, no worries, because Jonah Pizzette looked really good. So, yeah, no changes to either side by the looks of this. Like, Wade Egan has been named. I would say that Freddie Lussick probably does jump into the starting hooker role with Jazz Tavanga coming onto the bench. I don't know if Wade Egan plays. He looked pretty ginger after that injury last week. So that one we'll have to wait and see on. But other than that, Storm name 1 through to 17 as they did last week. Warriors are $3 to win this game, so pretty good value there for the Warriors. Like I'd definitely be maybe chucking a $5 on that. Come home with $15 if they do pull off the win. These are notoriously close games between these two sides. Like if we look at recently, when the Warriors have been better, Storm have won the last 7 games against the Warriors. So I do take that back a little bit. But like realistically, it was an 8-point win for Storm last year. It was a 12-point win for Storm the year before. It was a 60-point win for Storm earlier on in 2022. So, and then it was like an average of 30 points Storm put on the Warriors. But recently, the Warriors have looked better against the Storm. I do think that Storm win this one, though. I don't think it'll be a 13-plus win, but I do think Storm get away with that one there. Right, next up, we've got the Manly Sea Eagles against the Sydney Roosters. Should be a cracker of a game. I think this one is the game of the week. I really do. Both sides coming off great wins in Vegas. This is going to be entertaining. It is going to be hella entertaining. Spencer Leniu obviously out suspended and Jason Saab is out with that hamstring injury. Coming in for the Sea Eagles is Tommy Talau. He will play on the wing for Jason Saab. And Jared Maria-Hargreaves and Dominic Young return for the Roosters with Spencer Leniu out. So Billy Smith also misses out here. I do think he is injured though. Outside of that, both teams named pretty much how they were in Vegas. So a couple of pretty good team lists, I'll tell you that much. So it should be a very interesting game. As I said, I think this is the game of the round. I think this one will be extremely close. I am backing Manly here. I think that will be a 1-12 win there for the Sea Eagles. But again, don't rule out the Roosters. I just think at Brookie, Manly will be just too good for the Roosters there. So I am tipping the Sea Eagles in that one. And finally, at KO Stadium, we've got the Dolphins against the Dragons. This one's interesting. So they've obviously played each other twice. Dolphins winning 26-12 in round 13 last year. Dragons winning 38-12 in round 5 last year. So, yeah, look, not too many changes for the... Well, there's no changes for the Dragons outside of Blake Laurie returning in the number 10 jersey and Luciano Leilua coming on to the bench. Outside of that, no changes for St. George. The Dolphins have made a few changes. Jake Averillo comes in for Tessie New. Isaiah Kotoa comes in for Sean O'Sullivan. You've also got Ewan Aitken playing really well for my Central Queensland Capras last week, so thanks for taking him back, Dolphins. That sucks. Max Plath gets the number 13 jersey there with Ray Stone dropping out. Jared Wallace also gets the number 17 jersey. So definitely a few changes there for the Dolphins. Wayne Bennett's come out and put his foot down and said, we're making some changes here. You boys are on notice. So, look, I think the Dolphins will be a lot better than last week. But I do think the Dragons actually win this. I think they will be too good there for the Dolphins. I am picking the Dragons to win this one. I'm going to say 1-12. I'm going safe here, 1-12, but it's definitely a game I do think that could go 13+. All right, guys, let's go over the tips once more. So I've got the Rabbitohs at 1-12 over the Broncos, Sharkies 13+ over the Dogs, Panthers 1-12 against the Eels, Raiders 13+ over the Tigers, Cowboys 1-12 over the Knights, Storm 1-12 over the Warriors, Sea Eagles 1-12 over the Roosters, and the Dragons 1-12 over the Dolphins. Let me know your tips down below in the comments, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And as always, my friends, I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.